world. A very warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Vijay Mistry, preparing you for growth and excellence. Our purpose is to see you leaders achieve standards of excellence in everything you do. And for those business owners, scale up your businesses with ease. And today I'm joined by my good friend and my business partner, Soin Shah, who's in Nairobi, Kenya. I'm based here in UK, London, and he handles the affairs in Africa. So in welcome and Jumbo.
Thank you, Vijay, and a very warm welcome to all our audience. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our audience across the globe. It is a great honor and pleasure for us to host this event, and we want to, as usual, share a lot of good insights and on how to actually progress to excellence. That is what we are all about here. Over to you, Vijay, as we go along. Of course, this is an event where we were to host artificial intelligence, and we will be discussing that across in our discussions. At a later stage, we will have the artificial intelligence with us.
Yes,
So
yes,
I
yes,
guess
yes,
you just have to hold on to your seats for this event. Over
yes,
to you.
yes. Thanks. So actually, we were setting the stage for this whole artificial intelligence, but that will come in play. Not to worry about that. But here's the thing: we seem to be having this common pattern of questions on certain pain points as far as leaders is concerned, as far as board of directors are concerned. And it doesn't matter. You could be a department head, or you could be a CEO of a company, or a family business owner. It doesn't matter which sector you are, wherever you are in the world, you will get a lot of value. Say hi in the chat as well. We've got a chat. I can see if any comments are coming through. We are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. So we are live in very many of these social media platforms at the moment. But I'll straight away pass over to Soin because you will get some gold nuggets. And I press upon you to take some notes as we move forward because there are some insights we want to share from our experience of coaching and consulting many organizations, even helping in business transformation. So in over to you, and maybe we can start by
Yes.
kicking off the first question.
Yes, thank you, Vijay. Just a bit of housekeeping rules. As usual, we will insist and urge you to take as many notes as possible. These are million-dollar nuggets, and each point can actually change people's lives and their leadership capabilities and techniques. So here goes my first question. Vijay, as we have been interviewing a number of entrepreneurs and CEOs, what are two or three common challenges leaders face at present?
Oh, that's a very good question, actually. And this is a common question we normally get. The first, and you must have observed this as well, Soin, is lack of communication. The clarity in communication is where the biggest missing link is. This is a key component in many instances. This is just one of the few challenges we have noticed. Another one is time management, managing the time itself. I would say this is one of the biggest issues as well because of the day-to-day routine and the mundane tasks and what's happening with the external pressure and with the accelerated pace of the global changes. Coping up and controlling is another key challenge. And another one, which I just want to share, is basically self-management, making sure that you give enough attention to all aspects, not only the career itself, but the social aspects, the personal finance, the mindset itself, and other aspects as well. We've got a complete different format for this. And, in our coaching sessions, we also help leaders not only on the leadership aspects as well, but also on the self-alignment and the self-mastery itself. And so maybe you might have an example or something on this First question.
I mean, what we have encountered, and as you have rightly put it, these are the three major categories that we have seen where leaders are having challenge. And one, as we rightly put it, is communication in terms of across the board with their peers and the subordinates as well. So the aspect of two-way communication is cannot be underestimated. This is critical, and of course, with it comes the skills of listening. So we have seen a lot of leaders; they can keep on talking and talking for hours, but then the aspect of listening to to the other side of the coin is missing, and that's when you miss out on a lot of chunks. So I know Vijay has a lot of inputs on actively grasping certain aspects, but that's another topic for another day. Of course, time management plays an important role, and I would not want to deliberate so much on it. I'm sure everyone has heard about it and also wants to make sure they use their time in an appropriate manner. Time is money in this in the current scenario. It is the currency of the day. Self-management is the new order of the day, and of course, how you carry yourself and how you present yourself, your likability, and your interaction with all the people 360 degree is very important, and this is what will assist one to grow and to overcome what they are facing. So I think we will move to the second question at this stage, if
Yes,
that's
let's move.
okay.
Let's move to the second question. Sorry.
So the second question is a very interesting one, and this comes up very so often. What are some of the reasons that leaders don't want to make the changes happen? This is very interesting. Over to you, Vijay.
Wow, wow, wow. So this now goes into the root cause. Obviously, we know what the challenges are, but why don't they make the changes? So here are a couple of insights I want to share with you, and this is from our observation. First and foremost is that mental flatline. In other words, that stagnation which has kicked in, which leads to complacency. It's like being in that comfort zone and not really wanting to stretch the thinking and not really moving to the next level. That is one of the key reasons why I have noted many executives and CEOs not really making those changes. Another key reason, and this goes back, there was one particular managing director who was also the owner of this company. It was a family business owner. He was a family business owner, and there was a certain investment decision that needed to be made, and he kept on spilling it over and over again. He had all the facts, he had all the structures, he had the blueprint in place. He knew exactly what the level of confidence and the level of certainty was. Risk levels were all assessed, everything was good, but he couldn't make that decision. He was the main decision maker. He would be the one to pull that particular trigger. And here's the thing, he kept on spilling it over, kept on spilling it over. And Suin and I, we had a deep coaching session with this personnel, and we were probing deep as to what really was the key reason. And he finally confided into us that he had burnt his fingers in the past. And that was a root cause why that brought in doubt, because he always had that fear that he might make that mistake again and lose a lot of money. So this is another key problem, is many have burned their fingers. I'm not saying that you don't do your due diligence and don't vet whatever investment or initiative you go for, but the fact here is, the bold, fortune favors the bold, but the future also favors the bold. So this element of bite-sized risks, will come to how we can solve this, is another key component which I wanted to share. So do you have any others to share?
I think, Vijay, you have outlined most of the challenges, and the thing that underlines all these aspects that we see and what we've been noticing as we talk to the entrepreneurs and the CEOs in the current times is the aspect of complacency and procrastination. uh, Always the aspect there's always, it's very easy to kick the can down the road, but to take a swift action and calculated risk is very important, and it plays an important part, because I mean, even if you look at how the equities, the markets play, if you don't catch the wave at the correct time, and timing is very important.
Everything.
So
Yeah.
we always say timing, timing, timing. So if you don't act in a particular way at the correct time, then you have lost the chance. And sometimes chances don't come. Things move. I mean, by the time you have made a decision and you have consulted your 100 people, the whole scenario has changed, and your ground on which you are standing has actually changed in a different way. So I think it's very important that instead of procrastinating, the important aspect is to be proactive. Take proactive steps, take proactive decisions, and the important thing in this day and age is to live and work and be street smart. This applies in business on a day-to-day basis. So people who are savvy in this area are definitely the guys we have seen who are winning across the day and are coming out as survivors. Over to you, Vijay.
Thank you. Thank you. I think so. And you really summed it pretty well. And as you can see, that Louis Pasteur said what Soin mentioned is that chance favors the prepared mind. So it's the preparation. Once you have the preparation, that is what is going to help you as you move forward. So, next question.
Yes, Vijay, the next question from my side is, we have noted that many leaders are overwhelmed. As usual, they say, I've got so much on my plate. Yeah. So the question here begs is that what do they need to do in order to free up valuable time? This is a very important question and it needs to be addressed, because most of the people say, I don't have time. Including myself, I keep saying that I need 36 hours a day. I think that's one of my weakness. Over to you, Vijay.
Yes, yes, yes. And I think we shared something this morning regarding the 36-hour element. But here's the fact is that there are two or three things I want to share with you, and these are some tools here. First is laser focus on your priorities. This is key. Now, everybody talks about you must focus on your priorities, you must focus on your priorities, but pick up on your dominant priorities. Layer out your priorities as well with a sense of critical urgency. So, how do you do that? Is establish where the leverage is. This is a key component. We had a director of an international company who just came up to us, and yeah, I mean, we were coaching him, Soin and I, and this was a key problem. He came up with one pain point, and we obviously picked up 10 others just from that one particular pain point. And this was one of the key elements is that he was not focusing on the leverage driver itself. So pick up on the critical priorities. That is the first one. Secondly, you need to have trust in your subordinates and delegate. So how can you delegate? Is by making sure that your team has got the right training and development, relevance is there, and you can delegate with confidence. That is going to set you apart, and it will free your time for you to unlock new initiatives and new ideas as well. And finally, this is very important, is what we call SPOD, which is specific point of destination. Having a set goal, having a vision in place and linking that vision with what you're doing will help you to accelerate and will even give you that sense of urgency as we move through this rapid pace which is happening globally. So work on these elements because this is going to help you to eliminate this overwhelm, as we put it. So do you want to put anything more constructive than what I've said here?
Yes, Vijay, I just want to add my 2 cents to this. I
Please.
think you have summarized it very well. But I think the most important aspect is to apply the 80-20 rule in this. And this is a very important tool. Uh, most of the problems, most of the overwhelming challenges that you face, if you apply the 80-20 rule, most of the 80% of the problems are solved by 20% simplicity. Applying simple, making simple solutions to bigger problems. And I always say we welcome to discuss along the way on how to break this down and compartmentalize the issues and address them in a way that they become very minute. And the challenge is once they become simple and they've been broken down, they can be challenged. As Vijay always keeps on saying, address things in a bite-sized manner. So once you have broken the challenges in a bite-sized manner and you are addressing them, you will soon see that you are overcoming your challenges as we go along. This is very important, and I think I can't stress this aspect over and over again. Over to you, Vijay, and I think, of course, it's my stage again to ask the question,
Yes.
and here you go. So, Vijay, can you share with all those who are at this time? I'm sure they're listening in very attentively and attending this session, this live session. This is very important. What are the few things leaders can do immediately in order to become more effective and succeed in whatever they're doing?
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Vijay.
So now we are looking into that system of success, as I would put it. And here's a key element. There are very many components to this, but I just want to share a couple of these. First and foremost is you need to make sure you have self appraisal. Now, why is this important? It's because normally owners or decision makers, they don't really appraise with the right meaning in place. When you have meaningful appraisal, a realization will come out. In other words, you will then pick up the gaps where you need to really improve. That is the first thing. So self appraise, this is important, and I would press upon you to appraise yourself every 3 to 4 weeks. And why 3 to 4 weeks? I mean, we hear of boards appraising, once a year or something on those lines, which is fine. But here's the thing: there's so many moving parts and there's so many changes happening that we need to make sure that we have the right mindset in place. So that is key. Secondly, you need to learn certain skills as well. What is relevant today, which is very key as you move forward. Third, like I mentioned earlier, you need to really delegate as well. So you need to use this delegation process, effective delegation, to ensure that you can free your time and do something more powerful. And another key element which I would like to press upon is consider having an accountability partner or a coach or somebody who can really help you to step up the game, stretch your thinking, move to the next level. So these are just some components. There are very many others, but this is going to help you and it will lead you to become more successful as you move forward. So, you want to share a couple of points on that?
Yes, the aspect of accountability partner is very interesting, and this one we have come across it. A lot of a lot of leaders in today's world are always in a mission to do a number of things, but as we say, they get deviated along the way. This is where an accountability partner is invaluable to make sure that the leader is course corrected and is heading to the direction he or she set out in the first place. Because along the way, as we say, we meet choppy waters and we move, we divert our paths, and we go into darkness mode. I call it. I think also Vijay says it. It's called LLTT, lonely at the top. Now, when a person is in that kind of a mode, they always need an accountability partner, and this is very important. This will keep you in check and keep on tuned to what you need to go for. Talking to that accountability partner, what are the issues you're facing? Just removing out the problems and then getting the insights on how to deal with them uh, I mean, you cannot actually value that. It's, as I said, it's invaluable. So I think that that's one of the key things that need to be done, and it's very important that the leaders adopt these good practices to make sure that they're effective and succeeding in life. So Vijay, of course, we were talking about the AI, and this is the question on AI now. Um, I hope you're ready for it.
Let's give it a shot.
So, we have seen in this day and age, AI is taking the center stage in many aspects in business, especially the manual tasks and what have you. What are some of the new skills that leaders must have in order to succeed
Wow, wow,
in this?
wow. Now this is about taking it to the next level altogether, from what I see. Now, first of all, before we continue, I just want to give a shout out to Derek's. Hi, Derek's. I got your message here. So, anybody, please post your messages, and just let's interact while we are going here. So, to forge forward, what are some of the skills that you require to ensure that you can still capitalize on the huge opportunities which we believe are super exciting times as we move forward? The first and foremost is being creative. So you need to make sure that you are creative. And again, doesn't matter. You could be a director, you could be an executive, you could be a business owner, you could be any in any field. Your creativity comes first. So you need to open up to new ideas. You need to come up with how you can really solve problems. This is very important, because AI, you can input information and it will bring out different permutations and different outcomes altogether. And obviously there's machine learning as well, so it becomes more and more intelligent. But here's the thing: creative mindset is the first skill that you need to really look into. Secondly, critical thinking. You need to make sure that you have that critical thinking ability. Probe deeper. So here's the thing: how can you get this? First of all, you need to really be passionate. You must have your purpose in place, you must have your passion in place, and you have your raw talent. So once you get facts coming in, probe deeper, and just don't accept the status quo, as I put it. So this is another key skill set that you need to really develop. The third one, which is very important, is social intelligence, which means your communication, your influence, how you react, how you connect with others as well, connecting all the dots as well, the way you collaborate, the way you communicate, which is pretty critical. The fourth aspect, and I would spread it out into two, is leverage attention. In other words, pay attention to where the leverage is, which is critical. But at the same time, you need to even pay attention to your energy levels, which is equally important. Your leverage and energy, those those elements are going to help you to step up the game. And finally, the fifth one, which I want to share with you, is basically self mastery. In other words, your management, centering, as we put it. So, in and I, we always talk about centering, making sure that you are completely aligned, making sure you are doing the right things as far as your health is concerned, as far as your mind nourishment is concerned, as far as your behavior is concerned, your attitude, your the way you talk, everything. So that is the self mastery aspects. There are five barriers to self mastery, but we'll share that in another live video in the future. But for now, these are some of the skills where you need to really work upon for you to move to the next level. So, over to you.
Yes, I think you've covered it in a very fantastic way, especially the aspect about critical thinking, making sure you incorporate social intelligence. I always say, and we have been discussing this, that yes, AI is in, but how does a human trump AI? And that is, humans have the capability of having emotional intelligence, and now there is this element of social intelligence. This is where, in my view, in our opinion, we can cooperate certain aspects, certain tasks that AIs can do much better than humans. Of course, humans are not built for the repetitive manual tasks, so AI can come into that. But incorporating certain aspects which are more attuned to humans, and that is the emotional and social aspects, that will take this and incorporating that in the business perspective will take this matter to another level altogether, and it's very interesting. And of course, we will be further discussing this and other capabilities that can be built in. I would like to touch upon the sixth question, and I know time is not on our side, but we will progress, and I hope you're getting valuable insights in this discussion. Please, if you are getting that insight, please put it on the chat. We would be happy to know, and it would also enable us to continuously share these valuable insights with all of you. Thank you. So I'll pose the sixth question to Vijay. Vijay, what would you say are some of the key opportunities for board of directors using AI to further their agendas?
Wow.
Vijay?
Okay. So, as far as AI is concerned and the board is concerned, here's how this AI can help boards as we forge forward. And there are many components, but let me just share a few for now. Number one is effective choices and effective decisions. With a heightened level of intelligence and with quality information and data, what's going to happen is that the boards will be able to make better decisions. Secondly, AI can also help in risk management because risk management plays a pivotal and critical role. So, risk management, when again going back to the decisions made, depending on the threshold and the appetite of that particular company and what they want to do, AI can be instrumental in risk management as well. A third component is also the financial dashboards and the financial insights, forward looking financial instruments. There are very many other combinations and algorithms which can really play a pivotal role moving forward. And one more element is internal control as well, making sure that the controls are properly in place. And one more, which I remember, is measures, feedback mechanism. The machine learning, the algorithms will get better and better moving forward, which will help boards to tweak the policies to make sure the guidelines are appropriate, but at the same time, be able to capitalize on all the opportunities out there in a bigger way. So these are some components. I know even in audit it can help as well, having the internal audit functions and other aspects as well. But these elements are key to for boards to apply AI moving forward. So, do you want to add something to this?
No, I think you've covered it well. And in summary, I mean, basically, making those effective choices, risk management, having the correct risk matrix in place. This is where AI can be put to good use. Especially, there are certain very essential aspects that need to be put into practice for businesses. Because if risk is not taken care of and it's not managed, then businesses can go in the wrong direction very fast. Uh, of course, you mentioned about the dashboards, and I think we will need another whole day to discuss dashboards and how AI can come into play. Of course, internal controls. This is what will ultimately make the auditors of today redundant, because I mean, as it is, I always, and this is what we say, auditors always look at doing a post-mortem activity. What is the value that we need to be seeking from an auditor? We need to be looking at what are the kind of assistance that he can give for businesses to chart their way forward. Of course, they will present the financial statements. They will identify certain internal control measures, which yes, some do, and we appreciate that. But the aspect of course correction and the aspect of actually helping businesses come out of the conundrums that they face is what is really required. So I think this is a challenge for auditors to come out, and of course, please, we always are open for this kind of challenge, and to assist each other and collaborate in a correct way to help businesses in this day and age. So, Vijay, I will move on to the seventh question, which has been posed ever so more, and that is we keep on I mean getting this one, and this is how it goes. I mean, one key element which renter director often talks about is detecting forward looking signals. How can leaders detect these with ease? This is a common question, I know, Vijay. So over to you,
Thank you, Soin. I just want to again say thank you to Praveen. Praveen, thank you for joining us, and thanks for the comments as well. Back in Delhi, so we are looking into working with Praveen as well in future. So we're looking to that. And Derek, thanks for the lovely comment of very insightful and eye-catching, certainly. So thank you for that as well. Now, uh, Soin posed this question about detecting signals. Signals is important. So how can you really detect signals? First and foremost, you need to know the guts of your business or your department for that matter. It doesn't matter. You could be in operations, you could be in marketing, you could be in finance, you could be in any department, doesn't matter. But you need to make sure you know the complete ins and out of your business. It should be hardwired, it should be in your DNA. This is the first component when you want to detect signals. Secondly, go into white space every single day for 10 minutes, just 10 minutes of your investment, and just put a finger on your pulse. In other words, just find out what is really happening externally as well as internally. Once you pick those moving parts, you will start you'll start unfolding new insights and perceptions as well, because you'll start looking at it with a different lens altogether. By the way, this has worked for many organizations, Soin and I have helped in them scaling up. So this is something that we have even tested and it really works. Third element, which is very important, is find out the turning points. For example, say you are in South Africa or you are in Australia or any part of the world, and you need to find out exactly when are the next elections or when is the next turning point taking place as far as the economy is concerned in your particular territory, wherever you are. You need to have those in place as well. Once you connect all this, you will be ahead of the game, because very few do this. And this is so powerful. If you use it on a daily basis, it's going to develop, it will help you to develop the skill set of detecting forward looking signals, which is where the impact is, which is where the power is, which is where the growth is. So work on detecting signals, and you will see the magic it happens. There are so many examples we can give, and in one particular service industry that grew 20-fold. So we know that there is so much impact when it comes to detecting signals. Just space out 10 minutes of your time and then brainstorm every 2 weeks or whatever it is for you, depending on the size and complexity of your organization. Brainstorm with your team and find out what they feel. Once you know what they feel, you all will pick up those signals which are applicable to your business. I hope that makes some sense. And I think this particular topic, we can do a complete webinar on this. And so we should work on this in future to help all of our viewers moving forward.
Yeah.
Uh,
Forward-looking signals is always an interesting topic to discuss, and it will be very interesting for us to share on the same as we go along. And we will definitely elaborate and give the techniques of how to go about this. And I always say, Vijay, this is where you incorporate yoga into business. And I know this is a new concept for a lot of people, but Vijay knows how to do it very well. So let's go to the next question, Vijay.
sure.
Company culture plays an important role in the success of businesses. What should companies do to ensure that company has a high performing team in
Uh,
place?
yeah, now that's a $1 million question. First and foremost is to make sure you incentivize your employees appropriately. That is key, to make sure that they are happy. The second element is to make sure that you give them the right training and development. Very important to make sure that their skill sets are always sharpened. Third, which is critical and which I have seen work in many businesses, is recognition and appreciation. In other words, appreciating your subordinates or your team members, making sure there is that recognition and appreciation, because this plays such an important role. Fourth is empowerment, empowering your team to engage and to communicate, to come up with ideas as well, because it will be more like a family sort of culture that you need to develop. Making sure that you have accountability in place, making sure that the outcomes are properly well articulated and well communicated to everybody. But if you have these few components, it will really help. I just want to add one thing: high performing team. uh this, and I might slightly digress here for a second. I know we will be closing with one last question, but here's one thing. Here in the UK, only 3.4% ethnic diversity in the FTSE 100, according to some research. Only 3.4% are CEOs, CFOs, or chairpersons. That is all. And here's the thing: where is the fair treatment? Where are the values? And you can compare the performance of some of these FTSE 100 companies with the rest of the world. I mean, it's evident, and you can see it for yourself. So my point here is, fair treatment, my dear friends, is where the game changes completely. You need to be fair with your employees. You need to be fair with how you treat everybody, and not to just have one or two people who influence all your decisions, because that is weak leadership. You need to make sure everybody is taken into consideration, because that's where your highest leverage is. Swin, I'll pass it over to you.
Yes, Vijay, this is a very critical aspect which a lot of people forget. and that businesses are not run by machines. No matter what, we keep saying that AI is coming, but AI is going to take some time and it requires a lot of investment. Remember that much. You already are invested heavily with the manpower that you have. Nourish them. They will move mountains for you. The small little things that you can do for them on a day-to-day basis will enable them more and more to make the business leapfrog to whatever destination that you want to head. And this is where we keep saying that, making sure that you not only, we keep saying appraising employees, but yes, there is certain things like recognition that needs to be passed along across the board, and it needs to be handed on at the right time. Time is very important. I mean, sometimes employees strive so hard, but they never get recognized. By the time it comes to the point of recognition, the employee is already made up a mind and is about to leave or has already left, and that's when you say, oh, this employee was so good. And that's when you remember the person. So I think we always laugh at each other, and Vijay says, I mean, we've heard so many times that people remember when the employee is either not there or has left. So it's one of those conundrums which we keep saying, that why don't you recognize the employee while he's there? The guy will give you not 10 times but 20 times what you are investing in him. So I think this is something that cannot be undervalued at any stage. So I guess, Vijay, shall I move to the last question so
Yeah,
that we can bounce?
yeah, just one sec. I just wanted to say hi to Anthony Randiki as well. Thank you for your comment as well. And I'm glad you all are finding value from what we are sharing. So go ahead, Swin.
Yes, yes. These point. I mean, again, this recognition and these points do play a very critical role, even for us. So I will move to the last point, last question of this session, Vijay, and that is: despite all that you have shared, I note that many leaders are not happy, and we have seen this. They have all the money in the world, but are simply not happy. In fact, sometimes we say they've got so much money they don't know what to do with it. So here goes. What's the question? What are some
Wow.
of the reasons you think are holding them back from not being happy? Now, this is a very deep-seated question. So
Wow.
over to you, Vijay.
Wow. This question requires 3 hour dialogue, I suppose. But anyway, look, I need to sum it up and I'll condense it in a few words. Swin and I, we visited two industrialists at one point, and this was just last year. And what happened is, they were both mega industrialists. We're looking at really those multi-million dollar wealth. And here's one thing we noted: one was calm and humble, and he had the time to talk to us and give us all the attention required, while the other one was completely frustrated. He had so many things going in his head. It was just it was just how shall I put it? It was really an experience for Soin and I to observe what was really going on with these two personalities, and they were both multimillionaires. And here's the thing: is that, and we have met even others as well. I shouldn't really confine, but we were just for the sake of this particular point on happiness. And here's the thing: when you carry a baggage, or when you have that baggage in place, what's going to happen is it's going to hit your emotional triggers, basically, and it stays with you. It's inside your brain, it's hardwired. And what happens is that there was one particular CEO, and this was really a crazy situation, and he kept on looking at the the shiny objects with others. and he didn't see how much wealth he had. He was a rich industrialist, he had everything, and he wished he could be like me. So here's the problem: is the identity is completely lost. When do you lose your identity? Is when you stop loving yourself. And even a slight bit of arrogance or a slight bit of attitude or not having authenticity is not going to help you to succeed. You could have $1 billion or $2 billion or whatever it is, but that is not where the happiness is. The happiness starts from within. And once you start sort of recognizing yourself and loving yourself and making sure that you're completely authentic. I mean, Soin and I, we are imperfect. We are not completely perfect, but we keep on progressing to excellence. This is our flagship program, which is Progression to Excellence. Is we keep on progressing, and that is the whole key here. Is that you don't need to show the world a different face. You just need to be who you are as a person, because you yourself are completely unique. And you need to love yourself, love the ones near you, recognize everybody, connect with everybody, and share the wisdom. Look, there is something which is going to pass. Your titles are going to pass, your wealth is going to, all your money is going to pass, but your wisdom is lasting. This is according to Nido Kuben. But your wisdom, what you share, the insights you share, the impact that you make, that is lasting. The rest is passing. Your wealth, your title, whoever you are, that is passing. It's the wisdom. That is what people will follow you for. And that is where you're going to leave the most powerful footprints. And this is one of the key components we, Soin and I, do by sharing all these insights, authentically, without any conflict within our head or without any impurities, with a pure intention to see how you succeed. And that is where we can share fearlessly. This is where the impact and difference is. So you might want to add a couple of points there.
Yes, 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 yes. This is absolutely critical, and a lot of the leaders are always seeking this key thing is that how can I be happy? I just want to share a small example of a very influential leader that we work with, and uh, he's based actually in Zambia. It's very interesting to note how this leader was so cool and calm and collected. And the things that he said is very simple. He says, "I want to consolidate. I don't. I want to. I want to delegate. I do not want to do other people's jobs. I want to make sure that they are fully empowered and they're able to execute. On my side, I want to consolidate all my things because ultimately he's very clear because he's living a finite life. He wants to delegate. He wants to make sure whatever he has grown, he has learned. He wants to make sure it's shared and it is multiplied so that the wealth and whatever he has created grows. And on the other side, we have seen so many examples whereby, because of certain decisions, certain, I don't know, how do you put it? Is it selfishness or short sightedness? You don't want to let go. And then it is only at the end, last minute, that's when you start thinking what you should be doing. And what one of the most important statistics that's out there is that so much of this wealth is lying in the banks, which is what you call it an unclaimed asset. What happens with all that wealth? It's really not adding value anyway. So the question that is being asked here is that what has that leader done? He has led a very unhappy life. He has done all that to amass all that, but nothing has come out of it. So I think some of these things need to be really looked into, and this example needs to be really thought through deeply and adopted, so that a path is charted out to see how we can be happy in whatever we are doing. you can be growing a lot of wealth, you can be growing your business, and you can also be happy. So I think with this, I think we would like to come to an end of this session. We're just at the 49th minute, if I'm not wrong, and I'm sure you've. I hope you, and I'm sure you have found this extremely valuable session. I'll let Vijay give his final remarks. Over to you, Vijay.
Thank you. So I just want to, Rajesh Ram, I see that there is a specific topic you want us to touch on. Please DM Soin or me if we are connected. I'm sure we are connected. So just DM us and just send us a message. We are happy to cover any topic that you have. And thank you for your comment as well. So that's really insightful. So anything, and if you have any other topics as well, or any other pain points, or anything you want us to cover, we are happy to cover. We are here to answer your questions as well. We'll be holding more of these live events, so please, uh, look out for these live events, and they'll really help. But Rajesh Ram, definitely will look into what your questions are and how we can really take this in our next few sessions. Anthony, again, thanks for joining. Derek's, Praveen, for sure, we're going to have a collaboration as well. And all who are joining, thank you for your time. Thank you for investing this time. And I hope you've taken some value from this. Thank you, Soin, for being part of this event. Without you, I don't think so this would be possible. So thank you from bottom of my heart, and thank you everybody. And we'll see you in the next event. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Vijay, of course, it was a very last minute thing where we jumped in, but